Honest with me. Have you ever found yourself laying awake at night wondering what happens if I never meet the right person? Or what if I am going to end up alone forever? If you've ever felt this fear, I just want to say that you are not alone at all. Um, a lot of Christian single women have this fear. And I want to talk today about how to confront that, how to move past it, and how to keep your confidence and trust God's timing. So, welcome. My name is Keshia Rice. I am a dating coach. I am a hypnotherapist. I help women learn how to heal from their unhealthy relationship patterns and attract cherished, loving relationships. And the reason why I wanted to do this video before people get up in arms, because I want to be clear on some things. I acknowledge not every woman wants to get married, right? I work with women who don't want to get married, but they are more interested in building up their confidence, learning how to, still date and have fun. I work with women who want a long-term relationship, but they don't want marriage. They want more of a Oprah and Stedman situation, right? But I also work with women who truly believe that God's purpose for their life includes marriage. And as they are checking off all the other boxes in their lives, they have the education, they have the career, they have the friends and all of that. They're wondering why this one thing is still left unchecked. So those are the women that I'm talking to. And I can relate because my whole journey into coaching started with a quarter life crisis, right? So I was living in this town. I was at a job that I absolutely did not like at all. And meanwhile, all of my friends were posting about their promotions and their new jobs. I was attending this church at the time, and they had a video ministry. And I remember like the camera catches me and a friend of mine. And when I look back at the video later, she looks angelic and I am ugly crying. And I'm just like, I can't even God right. Right. And then as it relates to relationships, I was in a situationship at the time that was really going nowhere. And meanwhile, I had all of these friends who were posting about their engagements and their weddings. They were having babies, all of these things. So I definitely know what it feels like to feel like you're being left out, to feel like everyone is getting the thing that you want except for you, and to feel like maybe it's just not going to happen. So if that's the case, then the first step that you want to do in this process is to name that fear. Instead of ignoring it, instead of trying to shove it down and repress it, just say to yourself, yeah, this is a concern of mine. This is a fear of mine. But this fear also does not define me. Now, once you do that, I want you to understand why this fear exists. And again, this fear exists because society tells you that it should exist and that there's a timeline. People are going to equate your worth with your marital status, whether you like it or not. Not that those are good people, not that those are people that you should listen to, but those people exist. And that's why I also wanted to bring up, like I did a minute earlier, that I also recognize that there are women who don't want to get married or women who want to get married but don't want to have kids, things like that. I honor those, right? My job as a coach is to help you find the situation that makes you happy, even if that is not the same situation or life path that I chose, right? But that is part of it. It is understanding that this is a societal pressure that has existed for a very long time. And if you want to live a happy and aligned life, if you want to break free from those toxic patterns that I mentioned, I help my clients break free from, you really have to be clear on what it is that you want, not what you think society wants or what your parents want or friends or anybody like that. So you have to remember that If after you've done all this evaluation, you decided that, yes, I do want marriage, God's timing is not society's timing. A lot of the happiest women that I know, a lot of women who are actually previous clients of mine, but also women I know who are friends of mine as well, found their partners not in their 20s, but in their 30s or 40s or beyond. I personally was 30 when I got married, and that makes me kind of in the middle. It makes me several years older than a lot of my friends when they got married, and it makes me like a decade or so younger than another group of friends that I have when they got married. So you really have to trust that your timing is your own, right? You also need to reframe this fear. So you need to recognize this as a signal from God and not a reflection of your adequacy or your worthiness. So, one scripture that I love that you will hear me quote all the time is Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. So, when you have that trust that there are plans for a hope and a future, even if that good hope and future, that blessing is not happening on the timing that you thought it was going to happen, it is valid nonetheless. And you know that it's going to be worth the wait. So there's an exercise that I want you to try, and that is to just grab your journal if you have a journal, or just grab a sheet of paper and write down your fear in one column. And then the next column, use that use that column to write down how God is using that fear to protect you or to prepare you. So in this case, if the fear is you're never going to meet the right person, I want you to know that I don't believe at all that God is a tease. I don't think he puts desires in our heart for no reason. But if there's a delay on that meeting the right man, I want you to consider that this may be a time that you are being asked to strengthen your faith, or you're being asked to really get clear on what your standards and your deal breakers and your boundaries are. Um, this is a season maybe where you're not in alignment with your purpose and with your purpose partner, the right relationship with you, because you need to spend more time on your communication issues, or you need to spend more time on actually enforcing those boundaries that you say you have, things like that. So maybe you need more time with a therapist or with a coach, or just more time in journaling and prayer and Bible study to really get you on that path that you need to be on. So, some of the steps that you want to take for dealing with this fear, putting it to rest, and then being able to move forward confidently are, again, to journal and reflect, um, challenge those lies that there's something wrong with you, or that it's never going to happen for you. Challenge those things, get into scripture and find things that contradict that. You also want to set clear standards. How would your ideal partner align with your faith, your values, and your life purpose? You only want a man who's going to do that. Don't settle just because you think it's going to take the fear away. I can tell you from personal experience, from previous relationships before I met my husband now, that is only going to add fears into your dating life and your relationship life. Invest in yourself. This is a time for you to pursue your education, for you to travel, for you to pursue your hobbies, to really get clear on who you are as a person. And then the more clear that you get on who you are, the more clear that you'll get on what it is that you need in a relationship. And then also build supportive relationships outside of your romantic relationships. So surround yourself with people who are going to uplift you and who are going to celebrate you in the season that you're in right now, instead of trying to pressure you to settle and to get into a situation that's not aligned. So once you have done those things, um, I want you to keep a couple of things in mind to really trust God's timing. So one is Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. It is trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not unto your own understanding. In all your ways, submit to him, and he will make your path straight. So when you have this fear that hits, do the other things that I mentioned, the journaling, the building supportive relationships and all, but also take the time to meditate, to remind yourself that you are fearfully and wonderfully made, and you are worthy of a love that matches your faith and your purpose, and that you're not going to settle for anything less than that. So fear is normal, but fear is also protective and it can be reframed. So I want you to name the fear, to understand the societal pressures that have led to you having that fear. I want you to reframe it and seek guidance for what you should be doing in this season in your life. Empower yourself through the journaling, through the new hobbies, through the surrounding yourself with, more supportive relationships, and move forward in confidence, right? So, if you want to go deeper into this healing, into the setting boundaries and attracting that purpose partner, then I would love for you to join me in my private coaching program. It's called From Toxic to Thriving. And this is all about helping you heal from your past wounds, break the toxic patterns, and build confident and faith aligned relationships. So, you can find the link for all of that in the description. And in the meantime, just comment in the comments about what fear has held you back in your single season, and tell me how you're going to reframe it. I really want to know that. And if you need help, you can put the fear in the comment section, and I will do my best to help you reframe it if you're struggling with that yourself, right? So stay blessed, stay confident. Um, I love you so much, and I will see you again soon.